since a little kid, the court system was there to put people away who have done something bad.
When I was reading the case files, something didn't add up.
The more we look into it and the more we research it and the more people we talk to, I've come to realize that Lee really isn't the person that he was made out to be by the authorities.
The young woman who was the victim in this case was the kind of victim that it is the nightmare for a death penalty case. Female, white, wealthy, connected, and in a neighborhood that people expect to be safe.
On the night of June 7th, 1989, Dana Fettler was shot and left for dead in an alley of the Chicago Gold Coast. On November 22nd, 1989, Lee Harris was indicted for the murder.
The witness didn't even come forward until after she heard about the monetary reward. Then she changed her story twice.
Without being in the same location, a drug-addicted man with schizophrenia testified that Lee confessed to him a man he didn't even know.
I want everybody that done told me no to really see what's going on.
Yorks or New?
Can you hear it still?
Less, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just try to talk louder then.
Okay. Okay, Okay. My name is Nick Picotti.
I'm Jeff Allen. You're losing it. Guys, pull it together.
My name is Haley.
I'm gonna laugh. Okay.
Don't do it.
Okay. I don't know if I can look at the camera. I know this is ridiculous. Okay.
My name is Emily Stopka.
Oh yeah.
Stop, don't do that.
No, it's perfectly fine.
I decided to stick with this case. You know, my dad, he's an attorney, and I have a background with law, and when I was reading the case files, something didn't add up, you know.
Personally, I've always thought, since a little kid, the court system was there to put people away who have done something bad, against someone else, and if they were put to jail, it was because they were guilty of it, and nothing more, nothing less. You're guilty. There's nothing else you can do about it.
Everyone in prison says they're innocent. No one comes out and says I did it. And so I thought this would probably be just another one of those cases. But the more we look into it and the more we research it and the more people we talk to, I've come to realize that Lee really isn't the person that he was made out to be by the authorities.
I'd really like for this to be seen by everyone.
If we could just change one person's mind or open one person's eyes to get out there and get active and really look into things like this, that would be my goal.
I think that this case needs to be seen by many and all.
On Saturday, June 17th, 1989, Dana spent the day with a good friend, Stephen Palmer. Later that day, they went to dinner with another friend, Anthony Jackson. Palmer dropped her off in front of her apartment building at 1446 North Dearborn.
Around 1:30 a.m., witness Diana Cipielli was walking her dog in Lincoln Park when she saw a young white woman walking with three black men, one of whom was holding Dana's hand.
Between 1:50 and 1:54 a.m. on June 18, 1989, computer records for the ATM machine located on 1500 136 North Clark Street indicated 2 cash withdrawals of $200 each.
At 1:55 a.m., Sergeant James McMullen was in his squad car at Goethe Avenue and LaSalle Street when he heard a gunshot. Soon after, a cab driver flagged down Officer LoBianco, who was on horseback, and led him to the body of Dana Feitler.
She was lying in the alley on the 1300 block of North Dearborn. Dana was taken to Northwestern Hospital where she died 3 weeks later without having regained consciousness.
The young woman who was the victim in this case was the kind of victim that it is the nightmare for a death penalty case. Female, white, wealthy, connected, and in a neighborhood that people expect to be safe. So you have all of those things going against you and a lot of publicity. And that made it very difficult for the state not to proceed. They needed to close the case, desperately needed to close the case. And
people have the tendency to jump to conclusions. Once they try the case in the media, you're doomed. I mean, you could be the most innocent man in the world, but when the media get a hold to it and say that you've done it, you've done it.
With this case, finding all these different leads and finding new information, we want to get answers. And sure, it's easy to just email and talk on the phone, but we want that raw footage of someone saying it, someone talking about it with us, and it's just been really difficult getting that.
Given names, it's hard to find people. You might get lucky and do some good investigative work and find them on white pages, but we didn't really have a lot to go off of, and that part was really frustrating when you have a name and maybe you have a statement from a trial document, but you can't find the person in real life. That's really frustrating. Trying to get the other side of the story was really frustrating. We couldn't get a hold of one of the witnesses. Another witness kept blowing us off, which you don't expect to happen because she didn't do anything wrong.
I think it's going to be great getting to see her, getting to know the case more in depth, getting to hear maybe some of the stuff that he was involved in that led up to him getting arrested.
Lyon. I'm a professor at DePaul University College of Law. So you have all of those things going against you and a lot of publicity. And that made it very difficult for the state not to proceed. They needed to close the case, desperately needed to close the case. And they began to get information from Lee, and they began to pay him for information for Lee.
Lee, you know, we're friends. Why don't you help us with this one? And I told him, sure, why not? We're friends. Let's see what we can do. Well, time went by, and they was telling me various things that happened in the case, where the body was found, where the people was at, who they thought done it, the whole 9 yards. I say, okay. He say, listen, well, it's a reward. I say, it is? He said, yeah. He say, I know you've fallen on hard times, but look, we'll take care of you. Ride with us. We'll make sure you get the reward. In the meantime, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of your family. No problem. I believed him. Big mistake. Who I would want to see this documentary is the Cook County State's Attorney Office, because I know they'll still deny it. I want the Center for Wrongful. I want everybody that have told me no to really see what's going on. You know,
I would really like for Lee's story to be heard by everyone, because he definitely needs to be heard. His voice needs to be heard.
I want to make this a statement. I want to send it to as many outlets as possible. Send it to local politicians. Let them be aware of, like, the issue at hand.
Part of this that is troubling is if he didn't do it, and he didn't, then whoever did has never been caught. And maybe he has committed some other crimes.
I want to be outside so bad. I mean, I want to lay down in the grass. I want to walk with no shoes on. I want to take this blue off. I'll never wear blue again.
Let people know wrongful convictions needs to be addressed. Put a face on it.